Hey guys, look what I got. That's right, I got the Eleven Hobby P-51 Mustang. It's an 1100mm P-51D in the Old Crow paint scheme. I'm going to quit talking, we're going to open up the box, and we're going to see what's going on inside. So here we've got a look at what's going on inside the box. As you can see, everything is packaged nicely. And now we're going to take everything out and we are going to take a closer look. Alright, this is everything that comes inside the box. Up next, we are going to talk about everything individually. Alright, first up is the nose cone. As you can see, this thing separates. And the prop fits in there like so. And boom! We have our four-bladed prop. Now, speaking of this prop, it's made of nice, durable material. And looks like it's got a pretty good pitch. It is a 10 by 7.5 from Eleven Hobby. And here is a look at the horizontal stabilizer. This thing has a nice finish on it. And there aren't dents and dings like I've seen on competitors' products recently. And that is always a very good thing. Looks like we've got a nice wing foil too on that, so we should have some really nice flight characteristics. Alright, and here are the silver drop tanks, which matches the color of the rest of the plane. They look pretty darn cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to fly with them on or not. Usually things like this create a little drag, but the scale realism that something like this gives to a plane like this is pretty awesome. And all you got to do is take that, slide it to the underside part of the wing on either side. There looks like there's a left and a right, so you have to play with it a little bit to figure out which one fits where. But I'll show you that slot here coming up next. Alright, so here we have our big, beautiful main wing. It looks like the detail is really nice on this thing. This sticker is popping up just a little bit, but as far as the finish goes, it looks awesome. And I'm really excited about that. And I was just mentioning the slots where those drop tanks go. And it's right in there. Pop it in, slide it down, and it's locked and loaded. And this thing has flaps as well as retracts, and as far as I can see and tell, these tires look really scale, and I can't wait to use the retracts and pop those babies out. Here's a look at the top side of this main wing. Everything looks good. We have all of our plugs here labeled. That's awesome. We have some really nice detail in here. And here is a look at the upper part of the flap. Got our aileron and our flaps. It requires no glue, and the build time itself should only take about 15 minutes or less. Alright guys, here is the fuselage. As you can see, we've got some nice scale detail here. Looks like this plane took down some Germans. Nazi Germans. I'm not used to my RC planes having this antenna. I know that's a scale detail. I'm not really a fan of it, to be honest. But it definitely does add some scale to the profile, because that's what was actually on the planes themselves. And we've got our elevator, or horizontal stabilizer servo right here. We've got to add the piece on. That's part of the build. And it looks like we have a tail wheel here, but it doesn't appear to be steerable. Alright, and now we are going to access the inside part of the canopy. So that pops off right there. Got our ESC right there, our 40 amp ESC. And we have our space right in there where the plugs are going to come up from the wing. And it looks like the ESC is free floating in there a little bit. Not my favorite thing, but I can find some Velcro and fix that. Alright, so now I'm going to put this thing together, and I will tell you how long it took and give you some, hopefully, some tips for you to build this as quickly as possible. Alright, here is the accessories pack. I forgot to include that. And this is a critical part of the build, so I thought I'd point that out to you guys. We've got some Y connectors, as well as other hardware, including, that looks like this is a prop accessory. And I'm going to explore all this coming up right now. Alright guys, here is what it looks like, all put together. This took a little bit longer than it did to do the T-28. There are a couple little things that were a little bit tricky. One, the nose cone didn't go together super quick. It should have, but I was a little spacey and not thinking it through, so part of that is operator error. I had to secure the ESC with Velcro in the fuselage, and of course I used the same trick that I did with the T-28 with the tail section servo, the elevator control rod to control the flight controls. And now we are going to do some tests. We are going to move the gear, we're going to move the prop, going to move the control surfaces, whole bunch of fun stuff like that. So that's coming up next. Alright, so here we go. Here is our control surfaces test. As you can see, our elevator, even in low rates, that's what that's in right now, has really nice throws. Here we go. That's in high rates at 100%. Now we are going to do some ailerons. That is in low rates at 70%. All the control surfaces on my maiden flights are generally 70% in low rates. And then if I need to during flight, I'll switch it up to 100% high rates. And I'll go from there. Here are our flaps. Very nice. Alright, and here is the rudder. In low rates, as you can see, the tail end is wiggling. Even in low rates, that means we've got a steerable tail wheel. At first glance, I didn't think we had a steerable tail wheel, but we do. You can really see it when it's in high rates right here, which is awesome. Now we're going to give a little test to the throttle. Oh yeah, that has that nice brushless sound. I'm going to give it a little better test now. Oh yeah. I wasn't even near full throttle, and I really felt that. So that's awesome. Alright guys, here we go for a retracts test. They seem to work effortlessly. Got some nice wheels here. These are rubber, and I really like that. They've got a nice tread design on them too. I'm not sure how that's going to translate to takeoffs and landings and ground handling overall, but I kind of like that nice touch. And up next, we are going to do my wrap-up for this unboxing and review. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this up with a couple pros and cons. I'm going to start with the cons first. There's only two of them. One, the assembly wasn't quite as fast as I expected. But really, for a P-51, normally there's glue involved with the bottom side here. Usually you've got to glue that on, so It wasn't too bad, just wasn't quite as quick as I had hoped, which made the production of this video take longer than I had hoped. So, the second thing is I had to secure the ESC with Velcro. It was floating around in there a little bit. I prefer not to have to do extra work like that, so when I do, it ends up on the con list. This thing has a ton of pros, so I'll only have a couple here for you. And look, check out the description for a link to get this and the complete list of pros and cons, because I'm going to update that as I go through and fly it outside. Alright, so I love P-51s. For me, it's a big pro right off the bat. Unless it looks like crap or there's a major defect, that's always going to be a positive for me. Overall, the finish is nice with minimal dents and dings. There are a couple. There was one right up there. You can only see it in certain light. And there were some minimal ones here and there throughout, but compared to my new P-51 UMX Mustang from E-flite, nothing. Like, this is mint compared to that. Alright, so obviously we've got nice scale details, including the optional drop tanks, which I didn't put on there because I want to fly this thing as soon as possible, and I don't want to maiden flight it with the drop tanks on there because they create drag. The final pro that I'm going to talk about are the flaps and retracts installed. I just did a quick demo not that long ago in this video showing you that. What I did not show you were my settings for that. So these are the settings that seem to work best, at least to start things off. So that is what I'm going to use in the maiden flight video. That should be coming soon. The weather has been horrendous, so as soon as I'm able to fly this, there will be a flight video up. With that said, like, comment, and subscribe, and GB Linden out.